how do you feel about getting into some of this sweet episode 2 action? This beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end.
You want to get into the beginning of the end?
I'm ready to start at the beginning. You know, Brian McKnight. Well, no, because this is episode 2. Dang it.
We
can't
that's
start back at 1. Yeah, we can't do that.
No, we will not start back at 1. I'm
will
not
not.
down for that.
No.
That was way too long. That was a 2-hour episode review.
It was.
That was like, at some point, do you think Brian McKnight just ever like, how do I put this? I feel like he's basically stuck in a Groundhog's Day situation.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
Do you ever think that eventually like that would drive him nuts?
I don't know. He's pretty smooth. I think that if he was,
he starts back at 1, dude.
Yeah. But he wanted to start back at 1. Like, if I'm not mistaken, the way the song goes.
That's how Groundhog's Day always goes.
Right.
Like Groundhog's Day starts with because it's all about the 7 stages of grief or whatever. Like that's how that storyline always rolls. So
yeah,
at first you're kind of shocked, and then you're in denial. And the denial section is the fun and game section. So like every Groundhog's Day story has a like, oh, I'm gonna harness this because it's hilarious.
Yeah,
and I think that's where Brian McKnight was when he wrote the song.
Okay.
I think he was kind of like, oh, I want to go back to 1 and talk about how much I love you again. Then I want to go back to 1. Then I want to go back to 1. Fun and games is fun and games, but eventually, just watch, Groundhog Day. Eventually, it ain't fun and games.
That's true. It ain't no game. So yeah, it can change fast. But goodness, I wonder. I am, but I was gonna say, I wonder if Carter's going through a lot of those.
I think Carter is back at 1.
I think he is.
I'll be 100 with you. Like I worry about Carter a little bit.
Yeah, I do too.
And I'll be honest, I'll just spoil it. At the end of this episode, I don't feel like I feel like he's still back at 1. Spoiler alert.
It's true. I agree.
It's the beginning of the end, not the end of the end. You know what I'm saying?
It is. You ready for me to plug in that television, see if I can get that working now?
Well, let me introduce the episode.
You're gonna introduce the show?
You know
okay. All right, let's do that. Okay.
And then get me on the TV. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, because
we do this 2-frame style.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. All right, I just wasn't sure.
I want
to make sure.
Okay. Oh, baby, I got you. I'm gonna feed you.
All right, feed me, baby bird. Wait, no, you're mama bird. Daddy bird. That's
Daddy bird.
Do daddy birds feed? No, I don't think they do. Where's the
I don't think Dad Bird hangs around. I don't think Dad Bird hangs around Bud at all.
Dad Bird does not hang around.
I think Dad Bird's like out, dude.
I never.
Like, I might be wrong. I'm not an animal scientist. All I'm saying is like, it feels to me like Daddy Bird hangs long enough to do the deed, and then like honestly, I think Mama Bird's like, get out of here.
Oh, I can
this
see
nest
that.
is big enough for me and baby birds.
See that.
Like, so you need to get out of here because I can teach
those
baby birds how to fly and how to hunt and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, so you made it happen. You made the cat make it happen. But now the cat needs to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Now the cat needs to fly away.
Right. Exactly. Goodness, I never thought.
I could be wrong. I'm willing to accept that I'm probably wrong about that.
Right.
But that's
wild.
It's always Mama Bird.
It's always
like,
Mama Bird.
I'll never see like doting Daddy Bird there.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
yeah.
Good job, honey.
Yeah.
You know, like you never see that.
You never see bird family photos. You know what I'm saying? Like you never see.
You never see bird family photos.
They don't do it. It's a touchy subject. I get it.
No.
But
we need to get them a whatever. We need to get them like a subscription or whatever. You know, like those family photo things where where like every time you win it for family photos, like, would you like to be a member? And I'm like, you think I want to do this all the time?
Yeah. No.
How many memberships do you have, my man?
Right. Yeah.
Like, how many people pay you X dollars a year?
Yeah.
To be able to come in anytime you want.
Yeah.
Anytime you want. Come on in, man.
Yeah.
Come on in. We'll make you hold your aunt's arm up. And
right.
We'll like, you know what I mean? Like, we'll make you prop your aunt's elbow up, which makes you feel really uncomfortable. We'll hey, you want to get the big rolly balls out and sit there with your sister back to back and look awkward?
And then they get that first saddle thing that they pull out, and then they're like, act like you love each other. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Like you can have all that for just like $200 a year.
Right.
It's like, no, like we did this because we have to.
Yeah.
We did this in the style of like the old 1800s, like family portraits, like stand still, Nancy.
Yep.
And then that was it. And then we all went back to our business.
Right.
Family photo day was like the worst day ever. I can't think of it. You got to let me know. I know we're going along on this segment. You got to email me. If you ever and I mean genuinely, not like I'm taking the piss. So like I had fun
right.
at this family photo thing
Yeah.
when we went to wherever in the mall because like I was taking the piss and it was fun. I need to know if you were like, oh no, that was a really great time around Christmas and a lot of loving memories. You guys tell me about that. I don't think anyone liked being there.
I don't think anyone did. Nope. I don't even think the photographers did. So yeah.
My mom arranged a family portrait one time that was so stressful with all the crap, whatever, that she cried over it. And I was like probably like 13. I remember standing there watching that and being like, why in the hell are we even here?
Right, exactly.
Why are we even here? No one's happy.
Yeah.
The woman that organized it is crying. Why? Why did we do this?
Yeah.
And then they think you want to pay to be able to go do that whenever you want. Maybe some people like sadists.
Yeah,
that's
what
a
I'm
thing
thinking.
they do.
That's what I'm
But
thinking.
like, who would ever have like a membership at a photo portrait studio?
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Let us know.
Ever.
turtlesoupshow@gmail.com.
Let us
know.
Email.com.
Yeah, email.com. All right.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, brave soldiers abroad, ships at sea. This is episode 2 of season 10 of the 1987 TMNT animated series.
There you go.
Entitled The Beginning of the End. This was written by Jeffrey Scott, directed by Tony Love. It aired September 21st, 1996. We're in it, boys. You know what I'm saying? It's going on. By way of it, so basically, you really should, if you haven't watched our last episode, 261, where we reviewed episode 1, you should definitely just go hop back. You know, it's on the UpTubs, it's on the podcast situation.
And it might be
go
down
back
below.
and check it out. Yeah, no, it should be down below if we did our job. So it's down there. Go back and watch that because it's pretty cool. If you're watching live though and you're like, man, this is live. Like, what are you talking about? I can't do that. Effectively, like so basically on what's going on here is that Dregg is back. He has ditched the high tech in a little rockety chair ship that happened. Blasted him, just yeeted him out into space and said like, sorry, die. And Mung is the second in charge. He is the commander of a bunch of legion of alien and insectile Batmen who have laser guns that can invariably shoot lasers or white goo that is mildly suggestive.
Yes.
That happens.
It does.
The Turtles are all about fixing their hyper mutations. The mutations we saw that led to the group mutation. Like the one that led to all that, they're trying to like solve that hardcore.
Yeah.
And Donnie thought he made some advancements. Turns out he fixed every turtle but Leo. Leo is a crazy I call it hyper mutant here because I believe that Dregg refers to the piece of shell as a bit of this hyper mutated turtle. So I'm gonna call this form hyper mutants.
Okay.
I don't know what we would call the stupid big versions of the turtles.
That was the unstable.
Normal.
That was the unstable mutations, I think.
So unstable mutation. So this is a hyper mutation. Okay.
Yeah.
That made Leo once again forget friend or foe. He turns into I think Raph called it does a King Kong routine.
Yes.
Where he just terrorizes things and he's out of control. So we left last episode with Leo in a cage and Donnie like, well, I hope we can fix that. And Carter being bummed out because honestly, if it wasn't for Dregg's intervention, like Donnie's machine should have fixed everybody except for Carter, whose genes are different and it doesn't work on Carter. Right. So Carter is about to leave. We talked about that a lot last episode, which is why you should really go back and listen or watch it because we talked about how can you just walk. He listened to his inner cowboy and not his inner Sandman. He just walked away. And was going to go back to college and did never say goodbye to anybody. Never say thanks for the good times, anything like that. Just went ahead and did it. So that's kind of where we leave ourselves off. So we're back in the lair with Leo in a cage, and we're going to try to fix it again. Yeah. Okay. So I think now we can warm the TV up. There we go. Right on time, baby. Right on time.
And then here we go.
Slime me. And then it's the action zone.
It's the action zone, baby.
It is the CBS action zone. We're back. Target acquired. You know what I'm saying? We're going to travel down the Monday Night Football metal tube in the ground thing, metal walkway, subway tracks, whatever you call it.
Lightning bolts,
target
all
acquired.
kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, lightning bolts, target acquired. And then we get obviously our intro. Now we open in the sewer layer with hypermutated Leo in the wooden cage, just like he was before, hooked up to a bunch of leads. In my head, I'm kind of like, how'd they get the leads on him?
Yeah, how?
Did they just like poke their hands like through the thing and be like, yeah, gotcha, sucker?
Yeah.
Did they wait till he fell asleep? Does hypermutated Leo even sleep? And more importantly, why does hypermutated Leo not have ripped those off?
That's true.
I don't know. But there he is. You know what I'm saying?
That's him
he's
in
all
full
hooked
glory.
up.
Yep.
Donnie thinks he solved the problem. He zaps Leo. It turns out, guess what? It worked. You know what I'm saying? Leo comes back to normal. Little amnesia. He's like, why am I in a cage? But then 2 seconds later, he's like, thanks a lot for helping me. So that's what it is. Donnie grabs a stethoscope, checks out Donnie's heart, or Leo's heart, says, you're good. But we see Leo's feet start to grow randomly with like with a little power. But then like it just cuts like really fast. There's a good image of it. And nobody notices.
Yeah.
And they never pick back up on it.
I think that was for us, I guess.
Unless they're pulling a Chris Claremont, they're going to pick this thread up later. You know what I'm saying? This is just a hanging thread. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we'll get back to it. Now, aboard the Dreadnought, Dregg holds a teeny little bit of the little hypermutated. He's like, look at me. Piece of shell that he got from Leo last episode in their little tumble. And he declares to himself and Mung that with this substance, with the hypermutated shell piece, and this stuff called mutanite, which we've never heard of before, he can mutate the turtles out of existence. You know what I'm saying?
Oddly enough, yes.
Mung has to play the can't do attitude game with Dregg, which I feel like a lot of times if you're a second in command, you probably get stuck with a lot because Dregg's like, and then with 800 unknown chemical substances, I will create an elixir that will burn up Earth. And you're like, we don't have like 780 of those. Those are, I don't know what half of what you just said is.
Yeah.
Probably in Dimension X. Sorry. And we saw High Tech got canned for it. You know what I'm saying? Last episode. So, but Mung does have to come in and he's like, we don't have mutanite because it's really hard to find and it's actually in Dimension X. So we don't have it. But after some manhandling at the hands of Dregg, Mung does let Dregg know about plutonium.
Plutonium. Yep.
And Dregg's like, what at? Never heard of her. You know what I'm saying? But he does analyze it. And once again, now he's like, oh, wow, this is some cool stuff. He once again launches his plan to destroy the turtles and conquer Earth. In the lair, the turtles are watching a dinosaur fight film with Carter. Just like, look at those feet, look at those dinosaurs. All normal. Carter laying back, getting kind of emo, kind of lamenting that he's the only one that isn't cured of his mutations.
Yep.
To which Splinter, picking up this one from last episode, because this is all Splinter does, just walk around and tell you things, tell you why stuff. He walks through and offers a happy butterfly does not spend its time dreaming of caterpillars.
Yeah.
Eric, what the hell does that mean?
I love it. I think he's not, I think what it means is that, I don't know how serious do I want to take this. It kind of speaks to me in a way because I get so worried about the future that, like, you know, having Splinter say this, it makes me, it kind of resonates with me that it's like, you know, the butterfly or the caterpillar is just concerned about what's going on with the day, and then he's gonna go to, you know, get in his little cocoon and wake up a butterfly, and he doesn't concern himself with the means and matters and all the stuff with the butterfly. He's just worried about the caterpillar stuff. So just worry about the here and now, and the rest will figure itself out. That's the interpretation that I'm taking with it. But
you're basically saying that Splinter is trying to hint to him, like, hey man, like maybe you don't need to be fixed.
That could be, or it will work itself out.
That's the only interpretation.
Because with the butterfly, you think that there is something, like that there's a change that will come. But then again, this is a character that mutates himself. So I don't know.
Yeah, but using the butterfly and caterpillar like analogy, you don't go back to being a caterpillar, man.
That's true.
Like
there is
that whole. It's always used. This is always used as an analogy for some kind of like watershed or transformation. Like you
Yes.
go from one thing into a whole different form that's beautiful and so different.
Right.
They constantly talk about this, and this is used so many times. But so here it seems to me like the only way I can really interpret it is that Splinter's like basically like be a happy butterfly. Like you're different now. Like you're not.
Oh,
There's a chance you
okay.
may not be normal Carter again. So if you're a butterfly looking back and being like, remember when I was a caterpillar? It seems like I'm the only one that's not a caterpillar anymore. And you're kind of wasting your time.
You know what, dude? You just broke my brain. So I had like a little fit of dyslexia where I switched the him. I thought he was saying the caterpillar does not dream of being a butterfly. Like I got that crossed up. No, that makes a lot more sense now. Yeah. It makes a lot more sense that he's saying the butterfly. So just be content with where you're at is pretty much what he's. Yeah, exactly. I think that he's trying to tell Carter that like, no, you are who you are. And that's it. Like there's no like accept who you are and be proud of who you are kind of thing, because there's honor and there's a pride to be had in that. And I agree. I think that's pretty much what he's getting at. But I know we just mentioned that this is Splinter's role now, but like we only say that because we've spent like 9 seasons with him, and this isn't out of his character. But like, I feel like I like this from Splinter. I would have loved. I say this, but in practice, it might have gotten very annoying. But I like, in theory, the idea that every episode had Splinter dropping some sort of like knowledge like this, or some sort of like not necessarily a parable, but like a wise like saying to get you thinking. And I think that would have added a lot more. Just wait to some of these episodes and this whole series if Splinter had done this more regularly, as opposed to just being either in the background or whatever the case may be.
I agree. It's hard. I feel like before Splinter was in a lot more of like a hands-on educational place, and now I think he's putting the finer points on stuff. I do appreciate it.
I do too.
But this whole thing actually reminded me of a quote from Richard Bach, and it's what the caterpillar calls the end of the world, the master calls the butterfly. And that I was thinking, I was like, who said that again? And I had to go look it up to give him some credit. But
I like it.
That's interesting. But yeah, like I do like this. But we'll see. So Leo starts to not feel so well. You know what I'm saying? He's sick, and it turns out that like. His family are jerks about it. You know what I'm saying? Like Eric wasn't wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're totally wrong. They're totally just horrible to him.
Like Raph's like, come on, man, don't be such a wuss. It turns out, that's the feeling sick part of turning into hyper mutant Leo again. Yep. And he does that.
He does.
The turtles do the same thing they always do. They try to ease him. They're like, come on, man, we're your friends. But it doesn't work. In this episode in particular, Mikey gets thrown around like all episode, and it starts here.
He does.
Like he gets like thrown into a wall. Well, Splinter steps up to Leo, and for some reason Leo holds back, which is interesting.
Yeah,
he'll beat his brothers into the ground, but he won't touch Splinter.
Right.
So of course this causes Leo to flee, like he did last episode, run right out the sewer. He kind of does a little bit of a Kool-Aid Man situation, gets out of there.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to go chase him. So Carter and Donnie hop on Carter's motorcycle as the other turtles pile in the party wagon and give chase. At the nuclear power plant, Mung lands at what I assume is Indian Point Energy Center, because it's the closest nuclear power plant to New York City. Sadly, it's closing this year, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I often lament the closed-mindedness of people who are scared of nuclear energy. Like what's wrong with you? Like seriously?
Yeah.
Like that's it? There was like Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island, and 3 Mile Island was even like super minor, and
right.
do you want to do nuclear anymore? Like, no, just burn more fossil fuels, idiots. Sounds great. So anyway, probably Indian Point. It's fine. It doesn't really matter where it is.
Okay.
So in this sequence, Mung storms in, captures a lead engineer, and demands all the plutonium he has. But there's a problem with this. Nuclear power plants have a ton of security measures to prevent this very thing.
They do.
And if you'd like to, Eric, I would like to demonstrate some of these for the audience.
All right, here we go.
So this is from the Nuclear Energy Institute. This is a PowerPoint that they present to the government to explain how they take care of nuclear power plants.
Right.
So I figure we can go through some of these things.
Let's do it
and figure out what would have really, because Mung didn't encounter any of these things that exist.
Nothing.
And before you say, well, all this stuff's there because of 9/11, some of it's there because of 9/11. But you know, they're worried about dirty bombs before 9/11.
Yeah.
So they had this stuff. So we've got, so this is what they're trying to protect against. Okay. So we've got several well-trained, dedicated adversaries or adversaries. Sorry. So they're basically they are set to go against like a crack squad of people trying to get into this thing. Yeah. Right. They're dealing with automatic weapons, silenced weapons with long range. I mean, incapacitating agents. So this is stuff like gas. Like they have defenses against gas, explosive vehicle bombs, stuff like that.
Hold on. I want to say vehicles as means of entry. That means aerial vehicles as well, I would assume.
Yes.
Yeah. Not just land vehicles. Precisely.
Like
and that's
how ship. Like that's how scout ship.
Exactly. Yes.
So your boy. So these are the things. This is the start of it all. These are the things that they're literally designed to protect against. And if you look at this list, it's everything, even including insider assistance. So that literally means like they've got a man on the inside and they're defended against that.
Right.
So if you like, you know, ransom somebody or you've got you played the long game.
Yeah.
So there's a guy like in security who whatever like owes you some kind of weird mafia favor. And from a child he was raised to do this one job. They got something against that too. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Much less Mung just hopping in with the goo guns.
Right.
Anyway, so moving on.
Goo guns.
Moving on. So what to go further into it, you have the physical security measures, okay? Around a nuclear power plant. So fencing, I feel like we can rule out. Because he did just fly over the fence.
Just flew
over. Gotta
over.
give him that, right?
Exactly. Yeah, he can have that one.
Intrusion detection, probably a little late when a scout ship's landing on the ground.
Yeah.
Isolation zones, closed circuit TV system, so they knew he was coming down.
They did.
The yard lighting, yeah, right. And more importantly, central alarm monitoring.
Right.
Which he absolutely broke when he went through there.
Oh, okay? Totally.
So that's some of the physical stuff.
Right.
And this is the stuff I want to get into.
Okay.
Everything is concrete and steel in that place. So you've got steel locked and armed doors. And look at those doors.
Yeah, those doors. That's real deal.
Steel barriers.
Yeah.
That's like poured concrete and steel. Right.
Yeah, you need a lot of jet fuel to make your way through those doors.
Yes, thank you. Or a hyper mutation that let you just blow out your little bird mouth and burn it, I guess.
That's true.
Or something. Like now the key card access.
Yeah,
if you can get through it, who cares about key card access?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know. But anyway, so moving on. This is another thing I love.
Yeah.
This is called hunks with guns are literally put in protective positions to repel you.
Right.
Part of the program.
That's their job, like, is to make sure you don't get in. And yeah, those hunks, they're going to do their job. They're well trained. So
those guys don't ask who you are first.
They don't. And those are not
kill you first.
They kill you first. And I'll tell you this.
Thank you.
Those are not goo guns that they're carrying. I'll tell you this right now.
The part that I want to really focus on is hardened defensive fighting positions. And you see the gentleman in the bottom is literally in one of them.
Yeah.
That is bulletproof steel.
Yep.
And anchored into poured concrete. And you're not going to dislodge that man. That man is going to keep firing bullets till he's out of bullets. Right. And the big part I love is also the appropriate adversary delay and engagement barriers. So their whole thing is like they're going to stop you from getting in as long as possible, so they have time to shoot you as long as possible.
Right. So yeah,
That's
now
the thing.
I take it that these guns, especially in the first person's in the first picture, that gun. I don't know anything really about guns except for goo guns, and that gun is. I take it that doesn't care if you're an alien or not, like an extraterrestrial, like
No.
Red
Like, for
Batman
example,
kind of
if
thing.
you like if Mung has his little alien steel little shield he can put on,
Right.
there is a potential that it could stop bullets.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't count for your feet and head that aren't covered, and also all of your Batmen are dead.
Right.
By the way.
Yeah, just gone.
Because guess who doesn't give a shit about Goo Gun?
Yeah,
the guy in the bottom behind the protective barrier.
Right.
The hardened defensive barrier.
Yeah.
You can cover the front of that with goo, and he does not care.
He does not care.
That's going to be bullets in your face. That's what it's going to be. And it's somewhat insulting that Mung just walks into this place.
It is.
Like, at least give us some of these guys.
Right.
But, like, getting into a nuclear power plant is not a thing you do. Oh,
no,
I love this. I love this one.
Yeah.
Look at this. Tell me you can get in there.
Right. Yeah. You're just going to waltz in. Yeah. No.
That looks more secure than Eric's bedroom door after he watched Paranormal Activity and had to lock it up because he thought someone was going to be over his bed going back and forth over the course of hours. I mean, and get dragged out of bed. Like, especially the one with the bars on it. That's about what it looked like when I spent the night there so many times. It looked a lot like that.
Now, given the benefit of the doubt, as adults, you and I, we've worked in a myriad of different places, and
yes,
we've been places where we've seen that certain things are not done correctly necessarily, or like
sometimes things slip.
That looks like it should be entirely locked and secured. It's not, and that's terrifying. That's happened more than I like to admit, but so even if like you could make it in here on the day where everything's unlocked, I mean, that's a lot of luck. And unless you're like Longshot or the Scarlet Witch, anybody who can like manipulate probability, the chances of you just coming in here and getting our plutonium is like slim to none.
Like if you're, I mean, I get it. Like, you know, if you're Omega level, like you're just like, what is matter?
Right.
And then you just get into wherever you want, right? Yeah. I mean, like Magneto could like stroll through this thing. Like it would not be a thing.
Right.
But when you're just an alien Beetle man with Goo Gun, you got about 8 Goo Gun Batman bros with you.
Right.
I just have like 3 words. It's hardened defensive positions.
Exactly.
You're just dead.
You're just dead.
So is that all? But look at those doors.
Oh, like, sorry, I'll go back.
That looks like a murder place. Oh, this is beautiful too.
Okay, you ready?
So no, go back. You're You're
okay.
good. You're good. Yeah. So look at those guys. Like, do they look like they're gonna play with you coming into the nuclear power plant?
Yeah, no, these dudes have tabletop training on their resume, which I don't think you or I have.
Yes.
They also have force on force training, which sounds very aggressive. Like that's just.
It sounds a lot like. How about I have been training against like an armed insurgency full of like commandos.
Right. Yeah.
So then later on, when I see the armed Beetle Man with 8 Batmen, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like
this reminds me. This reminds me of like every what do they call it? CQC, close quarters. Close quarter combat.
Yeah.
Every CQC scene in Metal Gear games where you have Snake like fighting somebody and they're doing the whole like Arya Stark thing where they drop the knife and they catch it and they do the flips and they that stuff. Every one of these people, like that's how they dance. Like that's fun for them. They're gonna just so if they're taking it seriously, it's even worse. Like you're not doing this, Mom. Like, this makes no sense.
Anti-terrorist exercises, they're planning for everything.
Right, exactly.
And Mung just waltzes in.
How does he?
And like even in like other things earlier in this cartoon, like where they would be like, oh, we're gonna go on the Air Force base. They at least Shredder and guys had to at least fight off like a handful of hunks with like M16s that shot lasers somehow. Like that's just kind of like what it was. Like you had to fight against the things. And but anyway,
this hunk is not like he's hunky, but he's like he's not good. Like, look at that alarm is behind like the thinnest layer of glass. Like, I mean, obviously it needs to be broken, but like, yeah, like that should have the alarm should have already been going off.
If you've gotten in there, the world is ended.
World is over.
And that's the only thing I'll give Red Skies is that in this continuity, maybe they just didn't have the resources to defend, you know, the Indian River.
That's true.
Maybe they just didn't have the resources to defend.
Okay. Yeah.
But
that's a good idea.
I feel like there would at least be some people there to defend it. Because what you don't need after some apocalypse is more apocalypse caused by just giving this man the fission materials.
Exactly.
Now, we're going to also get into this. When Mung gets in there, he demands all the plutonium you have.
Yes.
And the funny thing about nuclear power plants is that they actually use uranium fuel. Now, uranium and plutonium are different in the fact that plutonium is derived from uranium.
They're also spelled
different. And it has to be chemically, and it has to be chemically separated from uranium, okay? Through a process, okay? Now, when uranium is used as nuclear fuel, a very small amount of very low-grade plutonium is a byproduct of using nuclear fuel in a reactor, okay? So you get this little bit, like, it's like literally like fingernail clipping level business of like plutonium that's in the reactor. The problem is that plutonium sucks. And many world governments have actually attempted in their attempt to like make, you know, nuclear weapons, like say for example, England. England has nuclear power, but we're like, can we use this plutonium to make weapons? And they can't.
Yeah.
So even you're talking about like an actual like first world country can't do that.
Yeah.
Mung can't do that.
Mung cannot.
I thought. So for all this, like getting past all this like non-existent security, when he gets there, he asks for the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
And also, I would have loved it. This would have been like I might have like gotten like this episode like tattooed frame by frame like around my whole body. If the engineer here went like, okay, if you want the plutonium, and he basically like gets like a little thing that where they use to and he gives him like this little pile of shit. This like little shit. He's like, here
you go, have it.
He's like, that's it. He's like, that's all the plutonium we have.
Yeah. And
he's like, but I want the nuclear. I want the plutonium. He's like, that's it.
Yep. And then like
table scraps.
It'd be even better if he was like,
you can't make anything out of it.
If he was like, oh, there's more. Hold on, let me get some. Oh, and he's like still giving him more of it. Like, I don't know. That's a neat idea. Like, I get that this is a cartoon made for babies, but like,
sure,
it would have been neat if that would have been a way to like an educational a moment where you could have that be the foil, that it's like, oh, well, we had this.
That'd be hilarious.
And then it explains to kids that it's like, oh, that's the difference between this and that. I feel like
if Bebop and Rocksteady were still involved, if it was still Shredder, Krang, Bebop, and Rocksteady, that may have been a thing. Like the engineer, because he's a smart guy. And if the guy says, I want plutonium, he'd either say, we don't have that here. Like, we don't have that here. You don't understand. Or he'd be like, okay, here. It'd be like a handful of salt is what it looked like. There you go.
Right. There you go.
I want your entire supply. You got it. And you just sit there and look at him like, and then they'd be like, oh, okay, we'll go back to the boss. And they bring him this low grade plutonium, and then the Shredder gets mad because like they didn't ask for uranium because they want you know, all this stuff like that. Wrong place to go looking for weapons grade plutonium, my man. You know what I'm saying? You could have assaulted. You could have assaulted some of our nuclear stockpile.
Yeah.
Because it's equally defended. So if you can get past all that,
that's
where the weapons grade plutonium is, obviously, is in nuclear weapons, not at the power plant. But anyway, you know, just had to throw all that out there. So the whole thing's a little weird. Mung was conquered it all, put it all on the line, goes there, asked for the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't understand. And he's the one that told Dregg about plutonium. Then he went to the place that has uranium.
Exactly.
It's all good. I'm ready to go.
No, sorry, my finger clicked the wrong thing.
You're fine because I was out.
Okay.
On them streets, Donnie T and Carter finally catch up to Leo, who is busy crushing cars like Gravedigger. He's just like,
jumping on
walking across. Like it just reminded me of like the monster truck rallies.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
That's what would happen. These line a bunch of cars up, just run over.
I love that Leo's like, that's what he's doing. Like something inside of him tells him, I'm gonna jump on each one of these cars. I love that.
He's just lashing out right now. He's just lashing out. That's how it is. So yeah, and one thing I noticed here, which I just love to death in this sequence, is I should have noticed it back in the lair, but I noticed it here in my notes. Donnie has the cutest little turtle shell motorcycle helmet on.
He does.
At first, it looks like a night watch cap. It looks like just like a beanie, basically.
Right.
But then when he falls off the motorcycle, front tail goes in the dirt. He gets up. You notice, no, it's a little shell.
Yeah.
With like a metal, just like looks like the lid,
like a strap.
Or it looks like the handle. No, but it's not even a strap. It's like the metal handle for like a pot or something. Like it's not. If you look at it, it's not even like. It's not soft. It doesn't like grip.
Yeah.
It just looks like it's just a metal thing coming down.
I honestly did not notice that until you just mentioned it. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like affixed with like a metal fitting. Like
that's wild.
That would wreck your face.
It would.
Like, how would that not like absolutely destroy you if you got actually knocked off a bike?
But I love that they put it on.
No way
there,
to know.
Though. I love that they they had
no,
that attention to detail.
do. I love it, and I love that like you can tell Donnie's like, well, if I'm gonna be riding this motorcycle, I need a helmet. And he made his own.
Right.
Because Carter's like, I got my normal person helmet. I don't know about you, man.
Do you
like,
think
I don't know, like.
Do you think it says Donnie T on the inside of it? It has to, right?
Probably.
Like on the tag, like a name tag? Yeah. Yeah. Because him and Carter, if you haven't been paying attention, him and Carter have like a bond.
Him and Carter are tight.
They are.
I mean, Carter just like glossed him Donnie T.
He did. He totally did.
We've known Donnie T for like, at that point, what, 7 full seasons? 7 years? We knew about Donatello?
Yeah.
Carter walks in and goes, hey, punk, I want to train with your master.
Right.
And you're Donnie T. You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, okay. Like,
and I haven't even been to college. And
I haven't even been to college yet. Yeah. That's it. I'm out of here. You know, because that's what Carter did.
Oh, that's what it is.
So the other turtles show up, and they see Leo running back toward this hockey arena emblazoned with the name, the Mighty Clucks.
Yes.
And he's gonna. And I thought it said something else minus the L when I first saw it, and I thought, how come I've never heard that joke before?
Yeah.
But yeah. So this next sequence is honestly just kind of thing. So Leo runs in underneath the hockey ice that's cold and held up with I-beams. I don't understand. I don't think that's how that ever works at all.
No, not at all.
But that's how we're doing things. There's no hardened defensive positions at the nuclear power plant, and there's no foundation for that whole thing to sit on besides some beams. I don't understand.
Yep.
But they're there, and it happens. Leo gets down there, and effectively this entire scene is just a huge fight thing. The turtles try to get him, they try to wrap him up. Mikey tries to get, the lasso out again, doesn't really work. The turtles get really cold. Your boy Carter steps in, Big Bird, Savage Dragon Big Bird makes his first appearance. You know what I'm saying? He's got to fight this guy. Yep, there it is. All of its glory. God, I hate that character design. And he's just like fighting. He's like, let's do it. Well, sure enough, you know where this is going to go. The ice gets cracked, and guess what happens? Leo jumps up on the ice. All the posers out there playing hockey, get their dicks knocked in the dirt. They fall over. The hockey game gets called off. Big fight ensues. Mikey gets like shot across the ice and put into a goal.
Oh, that was the best. I loved that.
Because that's just Mikey's lot in life right now.
Oh yeah.
Savage Dragon Big Bird gets wrecked by some collapsing concrete, but then all of a sudden it didn't fall on him. And then Leo runs out of the arena.
Yeah.
And then Carter goes back to Savage Dragon Big Bird, even though before the commercial break he is clearly shown being covered in concrete from the stadium. He then, coming back from commercial break, is holding it up safely so people can get away. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we're going to see that again later this episode in a way that equally makes no sense. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
So, So we come back to April. April's in her apartment. And I just want to live there with April. I just want to be in there with April. That's what I want. I just want to be in April's cozy little apartment. I want her on the internet and looking up stories. because that's a picture of what I want. Like this would be a great image for like a chill hop playlist.
Oh, it kind of
Like
would, yeah.
You took the subtitle out, dead serious,
Right.
and you kind of like affected it where it looked a little bit more like rainy out. Like it looked a little more like it was desaturated more,
Yeah.
and a little more blue. Like I just listened to that chill hop playlist. Don't worry about it. You know what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
all day.
I'm so April is once again on the internet. You see her right there on the screen. It just says internet.
It just says internet.
Really feeling it, and she says, the internet is great for researching stories in this super dreamy way. Like it is like, and I want to marry it.
Right.
Is the next thing she would have said.
Exactly.
Except that a news report comes in, a little TV she's got there, relaying the latest in Turtles mayhem. At this point, it's got to be an old story. But your girl April at this point is not interested. She's like, no bueno. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna research nice normal stories, like a car theft ring, for example, that's connected to the infamous auto wrecker. Yes, that's a person's actual name.
Oh, let me get to him. Yeah. Because there he goes, right there. Yeah.
That's your boy Otto.
I want to say something real quick. You talked about it, but I just want to emphasize she is audibly saying, like she said, I think she says, from now on I'm working on nice, ordinary stories, meaning no turtle stories. Like she's fed up with turtle stuff. Like she has had her fill, and I guess it's funny how like the first thing she goes to is let's go into carjackings and stuff, and this dude just named Auto Wrecker. That's just beautiful. That's like.
That's what happened. It's Auto Wrecker. That's his name. He reminds me, when I saw that, I kind of had like a visceral like flashback to the Cops cartoon.
Yep. 100%.
This looks like a villain from Cops, man.
He totally does.
It just hit me. I saw your boy Long Arm. I saw him with the cuffs shooting out. I saw the whole 9 yards. I was ridiculously into Cops, the cartoon.
No, it was
ridiculously into that show. The toys were beautiful.
Yep.
Everything was perfect about Cops. It was.
Best.
So much so that I will not go back and watch it. I do not want it ruined for me.
You don't want to sully that. It is what it is.
I'm just right there with just like that and Silverhawks. Don't want to see it. Silverhawks is great. That's it. It was so awesome. That's all.
That's all you need to know.
Auto Wrecker, but I guess he does, leave the Cops cartoon and make an appearance here. That's his real name. And he disappeared 2 years ago without a trace.
Yep.
So April's like, well, let me input some things in the computer. And it turns out that, it just does predictive analysis. That's 1996. It just goes, he'll strike here. And April's like, internet's awesome. Yep. And she grabs her jacket. It's already on. She grabs her stuff, and she heads out the door. Audi. Meanwhile, on a railroad bridge, Leo does the thing. This sequence, kind of annoying. Leo wanders onto the structure of the bridge. And the turtles in the party wagon and Donnie and Carter T get on, Donnie T and Carter get on either side of it to corral him onto the bridge. And they're like, this is how we're going to catch him now. So Mikey lassos Leo, gets him this time. And instead of Leo just running off and going around a gas station again like he did last time and wrecking Mikey's face, instead now he's helpless. And he gets pulled in. And everything's going great until your boy Dregg rolls up on that scout ship. You know what I'm saying? He rolls up and he's like, let me open them doors. And the squad of Batmen are like, so I just started blasting. Basically.
Right, yeah.
And they just go for it. We're shooting lasers this time. That's
not
a good look.
It is.
That's a good look. Better than goo right now. They're just shooting indiscriminately at the situation. I guess Leo they know, I guess at this point, that hybrid mutate Leo is impervious to laser guns. Yeah. He demonstrated this last episode. So I guess they're not really worried about indiscriminate, friendly fire on the person they want.
Right.
They started blasting. At some point, this clears the turtles and Carter away. It also blasts a hole in the railroad bridge. At first, it doesn't look that bad. It looks like it just breaks the wooden ties between the rails. But later, when they give it the Ren and Stimpy embellishment, it is absolutely demolished.
Yes.
Good job, guys. You literally took apart the railroad. That's it. But now, doesn't look so bad. So Dregg's ship shoots out a tractor beam onto Leo and starts pulling him in. Right. And of course, at that moment, guess what? a train's coming. Oh my god! And I gotta tell you, man, I hope it's not Soul Train because nobody's got time to stop and dance for Soul Train.
Nobody.
It's just
not
not a thing that can happen to you.
No.
And Soul Train will come for you sometimes. We talked before about sometimes like with Soul Train, you just walk into an empty warehouse and it's just Soul Train.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, like Soul Train goes on the road, and and if Soul Train's ever on a train, that's double Soul Train.
Double train.
And it's gonna come get you.
It will.
You don't have time. You don't have time for it. You don't have time for strangers on a train.
Nope.
You don't have time for the band train. The band train will bore you to actual tears and everyone dies.
Tears of
you know
Jupiter.
What I'm saying? You can't have that happen. Thank you. Thank you. And Girl on a Train and Snowpiercer's out.
Right.
As well,
yeah.
Because that's so.
Trains.
I can't think of a train Can you think of a train you want to see here?
A train I want to see there.
Ninjas on a train might help. It depends.
We
if they're
saw
loyal
that.
ninjas on a train, they might help you.
That's true. We saw that in the
you saw ninjas on a train
on the OVA. The animated anime. I can't even talk. Yeah, I'm so distracted by the trains. I can't think of a train I'd want to see unless it's like the Transformers from Robots in Disguise, where they had 3 trains that could transform into one giant train, and I'm like, I'd like to see trains become a bigger train, but and the only type, but bigger in the sense of like vertically, not horizontally, because horizontal trains bigger is bad news. It's always bad news because then it's like Snowpiercer, and then but
Snowpiercer's not what you want here at all.
It is not.
We don't need Soul Asylum with Runaway Train. Like,
we don't.
That's another thing we don't need. So there's a lot of there's a ton of trains we don't need. So train sound, not a good thing.
Not a good
when
thing.
You're on the tracks.
Precisely.
So turns out Mikey and Raph, so Donnie's like, hey, you guys worry about whatever train that is, whatever version of a train that is. Could even be a train HVAC system. Who knows?
Right.
I'm gonna jump on Leo and ride him up the tractor beam.
Yep.
To make sure he's okay.
You heard it.
All the Batman. I don't know. He did it. Mikey and Raph are left with Carter. So Carter starts issuing orders, and Mikey and Raph are like, "Look, we lost leader number 1 because he's hyper mutant. We lost leader number 2 because he literally jumped on board with hyper mutant into the enemy's clutches.
Yeah.
So we are leaderless. And
right.
honestly, not really a leader among them, frankly, especially not in the animated series version.
No,
Raph would lead were this Mirage.
Right.
But that's not how things are right now. They are helpless. So Carter steps in, you know what I'm saying? Third acting captain says, you guys go do the stereotype and go throw the train tracks over to another set of tracks that will somehow not have this thing come over the bridge. Right. Mikey and Raph go to do that, but they just can't actually do it. They just can't. No magic nunchucks. So they fail boat.
They do.
So it looks like Carter is going to get hit by the train, but he quickly transforms into Savage Dragon Big Bird, hops into a hole in the bridge,
right,
and then somehow holds the broken pieces of the track, up
and
to
level,
stop the train and level with nothing to brace his feet against.
So not only
that is. Literally physically impossible.
Not only that, so the way, if for those who are watching the video, his fingers are obviously not like underneath it, like he's not holding it flat. He's gripping it. So now for those who aren't familiar, Carter's Big Bird mutation, he does have a sort of somewhat Colossus. A right arm?
Colossus type arm. We would have called it Colossus if we looked at anything else like Colossus. Right. That would have been in the name.
So it's a metal looking arm. But his left hand is just like the rest of his big feathered Big Bird self, presumably flesh. Yeah. So, I mean, I get that he's strong and I get that he might be impervious to lasers and goo guns, but like if you have a train, like be it like we've said, you know, in the band, the locomotive, whatever, Thomas, it doesn't matter.
Runaway train,
any one of them,
Snowpiercer, it doesn't matter.
Coming at you at such velocity and the weight of that on those tracks, I think that those fingers are going to be severed, right? Like regardless of how much you
instantly gone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
the other thing,
sorry. The alternative is that
Yeah.
they stop the train, right? Because they're so strong that the train can't go over them. That it would wreck the train then, right? If he could withstand it.
That's called a derailing.
A derailing,
And
right?
on a bridge, that would have sucked.
Oh,
And that's what they were
totally.
trying to avoid the whole time either.
Absolutely.
So,
So yeah,
the train doesn't, the tracks don't appear to be like parts blown out of them because the train still rolls over the tracks.
right.
But Carter has to hold them down. But then I guess once the train rolls over, also hold them up
Yeah, that's what gets confusing.
evenly.
Yeah.
And this process would be made a ton easier if in the art they decided to make the train tracks the I-beams they normally are,
Right.
and not just a flat piece of steel,
Mm-hmm.
because trains don't roll on that.
Right. No.
So if it was a normal I-beam, then you could hold the bottom of it
Right.
with each hand
Yeah.
and spare your little fingers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But here, it's just flat steel.
Right.
It's just a flat thing,
Mhm.
and that's what it rolls on. So Carter shouldn't ever have fingers again.
Never.
And he physically, how do you push something up if you're hanging from it?
Yeah.
Like, explain that. I don't
There's
know.
so many questions.
Because they earlier show a clear hole in the bridge.
Oh yeah.
But he's good. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what he's doing, but he did it. So train passes by. No Savage Dragon Big Bird. Mikey and Raph instantly start to eulogize him. They're
Yeah.
like, man, that was the bravest thing I ever saw. Well, wait a minute. He's alive. I'm like, I love it. I love it when characters start to eulogize other characters. When they're
yeah.
like, well, that was a good run. You're like,
Mhm.
that's what you really would have said?
Right. That's
Like,
it.
if that guy really
Yeah.
died, like, you would have been like, well, he died doing what he loved.
Right.
What, eating farts? And then the guy's alive. You're like, oh, you're alive. I'm like, what? Would you have said, like, eating farts? Is that what
Right.
you would have said if he died? Like, that's what you would have said? That's like the time you and I almost died, and
I
your
just go,
last words were going to be, we're gonna be, and that was it. We're in the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything because I was mortified.
Right.
But Eric goes, and
That
that'd have
was
been
it.
it, Eric. If him and I would have died,
Last
he would have
words.
been, and I'd have been like, that's about it.
That's it.
He's alive though,
He
and
is.
he's transformed back into Carter, and now he can't seem to hold on to the thing. And
Yeah.
this is where it's illustrated that there's a big hole in the bridge because Carter is asking for help to get pulled out of the hole in the bridge. You see, that's blasted fully through the bridge.
Right.
And Carter needs help to get lifted out of the hole.
Right.
That's how
Which
you
makes
know
no
there was
sense.
nothing on the ground for Savage Big Bird Dragon
Mhm.
to use. So they retreat to the party wagon and they use the radar on the party wagon to track the scout ship which is heading northeast at a good clip.
Yeah.
And that's where Eric takes over.
Yeah. So
Let's boogie.
this is another thing about the inside of the party wagon, which I love because we're getting more and more of that. Like we've seen it this season be like destroyed and in various like ways of disarray and now we're seeing that it has this whole console, and a lot of the stuff that we're seeing on the inside and the interior seems to be a lot less like beige and yellowy that it used to be, and now it's a little bit more like just metal and just
It's
silver
more metal
or
yeah.
gray, and it's kind of neat, but it makes it seem way bigger on the inside than it should be. But cartoons.
Yeah.
So
little TARDIS action going on.
a little bit. So on Dregg's ship, he is Leo's in a glass case of emotion, and he's still
he
the what did you call it, the hyper mutated version of himself. And so Dregg is piloting this ship, and he is like beside himself. He is like reciting all of the chemicals that he's got or that he's gonna need to use. All this stuff.
This cat is naming nuts. If you've
Yeah.
seen the movie Best in
That's
Show,
right. That's
and the
right.
whole
naming nuts.
like I'll start naming nuts, macadamia nut, walnut, tree
Mhm.
nut, pine nut. Like that's basically what he's doing. He's
That
like
is.
he's like titanium, aluminum, chromium,
Right.
benzene. Some of those are metals, some of those aren't. And
Right.
he's just talking. That's basically what it is.
That is what it is. And he goes
all
on to
it
talk about about how he's gonna get the microbots to rebuild the warehouse. So I'm assuming what he meant was like from last time, that like last episode where they built a warehouse.
He's talking about different metals that they would I assume that they would need to like rebuild like a command center for him to like work from. So those are the metals he's looking for, and he's obviously looking for them in the city. Like this is all the stuff I need.
Yeah, and so Donnie pops up. Oh, did that not go? Let me see. There we go. Donnie pops up, and he tells us that Dregg's gonna build something bad. Essentially, is what he's saying. With those chemicals, Donnie recognizes what he's saying and kind of puts all of that together and sees where it's going. I have no idea how Donatello, now granted, he is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, but he is in the animated series. They're a little bit bigger than what they should probably be, so they're hard to miss. And they, he was on Leo's like he jumped up there and grabbed the thing that they're tractor beaming in. So they have eyes on Leo. They're seeing what's going on. The red Batman shooting the goo guns. They saw all this, and yet when Leo got in somehow. Now I guess this is a testament to his ninja skills, because he's still undetected. Like they don't know that Donnie's there. And that's just, I don't know. That's just a huge oversight on Dregg's part, in my opinion. And I don't know. I just can't let that stand. So, nevertheless, moving on.
Okay, so this is really fast. This is just one of the parts of the episode that stops making sense to me. So they don't know Donnie's on board. What happened to the Batman?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Like what? No, I don't. I just had to double down on it because
they are the ones. Presumably, they might have cleared the area, and that's all they did. And they're like, all right, the turtles are far enough away.
We're gonna fly out the ship and fly away from the scout ship, or we're gonna go to another place.
Or they just said, okay, we did our job. They and then they went back to doing whatever they do. And the tractor beam has Leo. Let's not worry about it. So they took eyes off of him, because that could be a thing, and that is a thing.
I mean, they probably have a pretty time-consuming job reloading their guns.
At least 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And so,
I mean, it probably takes a minute. That's a lot of goo.
That's a lot of goo, and it could be why they have to go to lasers sometimes. It's very perplexing how Donnie did this. But I guess we could chalk it up to his ninja skills, and that's fine. Anyway, on the streets, Ryan, we see a car pull up to a green SUV just chilling in the road. A somewhat white male in a teal hat and jacket jumps out of the car and breaks into the SUV. As he hotwires it and takes off, we see that there's something in the back seat, Ryan. Something from the past.
Yes.
And
that's what's happening.
Turns out this is April O'Neil, reporter on the streets, in the sheets. Lady
under the sheets.
Lady in the streets, reporter in the sheets.
Investigative journalist under the sheet.
Exactly. And she's in here with a camera, not a gun, not her camera gun, unfortunately, but just a regular camera, literally undercover, Ryan. She is literally undercover doing this.
Well, she's doing it. She's back to getting on some nice, normal, relaxing, calm stories.
Oh yeah, like I love that this is her way of
a car theft ring.
Yeah, I love that she wants to dial. Well, in all fairness, she's been to other dimensions. She's been in Shredder's harem. She's fought like aliens. But she has a mutant rat friend that she's got on speed dial. Like a car ring.
Was in Shredder's harem. Yeah,
she was. A criminal car theft ring is definitely like a touch or two down from that, so I can kind of understand it. But I love that that's the world that she lives in, and that's her character. That what we would think would be like really ridiculous, like that you would go do that. This is nothing to her because she's seen so much worse, and I guess I didn't really register that until we're talking about it right now, and I kind of love that. So anyway, So at what we soon discover is a chop shop warehouse. The green SUV gets buzzed in, and the driver exits, And then we see that April thinks that, okay, at this time, it's a good time to come out of hiding. That she's like, okay, I think, the car stopped. Let's survey the area and see what's going on. And she states how this is going to be an easy, turtle-free story. And I'm so happy that they're addressing it, but like I kind of well, she has been kind of like not there during most of the Red Skies. She's been a little distanced, and so I kind of like that they are addressing this now. I kind of wish they would have like laid those seeds a little bit a little bit more in previous seasons, but what can you do? So
that would require not resetting the show every episode, Eric.
That's true. Well, I guess what I mean is that with the Red Skies being that they're all contiguous, that it would have been nice if she would have been a little bit more vocal about why she's been distant. But we did notice that she was distant. No,
you're not wrong. There's some weird stuff. Like I think she got a little more play than maybe you're giving her credit for. I think she was pretty instrumental in that whole like plot line about like Channel 6 getting like wrecked and how effectively like the Turtles just kept destroying Channel 6, and she's like, well, keep doing that to my job, please. That feels great. There was that episode where she just literally saw the Turtles one time where a crime was and was utterly convinced they were criminals.
Yeah,
that was a weird take. She's been around, and she had a lot to do with the plot line about the whole like Dregg's like kind of like war of attrition with the media and stuff. But I agree with your man. I think she's got a lot of play in Red Skies actually, but this particular, like, I'm sick of this.
Yeah, I don't know.
They haven't really given her that, and I agree. I would have liked that to be a longer storyline for sure, but she did get plenty of play.
See, when I think back on it, I just feel like she's been a lot. Like she's been there. I know we've talked about her, but I just feel like she's been nowhere near where she was in previous seasons, or like just she's not really as integral as she had been. And you know what it could be? No. It could just be that she's not wearing the yellow jumpsuit, and that was so like vibrant that it stood out. Her more earth tones, the attire that she's wearing now, she kind of blends in. So, and I don't know, and that works well for her in the back of this SUV because they're not noticing her. All these thieves, these master thieves, have not noticed this person just filming.
No.
In the back seat. So anyway, April, she talks about how this is going to be easy turtle-free story. Just then, as per usual for the Red Skies season 10.
Oh yeah,
your boy Dregg comes in, Kool-Aid Man. Just where we're going, we don't need doors, and he just bursts through, and I love this. I love that it's just a running thing with them, and he wrecks his ship through the wall, and April's like just blown out because she's like, well, great, like just when I thought this was gonna be normal and easy, we get red flying Batman, and Dregg's red flying Batman. They fly out and they pull Leonardo in his capsule out of the ship, and so once they do that, they start blasting everywhere, and they clear out the room. The whole operation is cleared out because, of course, like you see them with the goo guns, and you don't want to be stuck with that.
Yeah.
No. So yeah. And then Dregg does this thing, which I think is kind of a boss move. He just straight up throws his plans on the ground. And he then takes a canister of the microbots and he pours them on top of the the plans, and he just says, "Build me a plutonium ray."
That's some real analog to digital conversion right there.
100%.
Like, literally, it's like AD converter. Yeah, the most basic AD converter. It's like I pour digital thing on analog thing. Read my analog plan. Make me ray.
Right.
And honestly, the microbots are pretty badass because they actually just do that.
They are. I'm still enamored with them. Like I'm not like this is a Deus Ex Machina like yet. Like I can see that it will kind of be that way. But I've just enjoyed them for some reason. But with this plutonium ray, Dregg says he's gonna turn Leo into the deadliest turtle in the world, which there's a lot of turtles in the world, so I don't know. Then we get to see the whole microbots in action, doing their thing. And again, if you're just now watching, these microbots can turn matter into whatever they want to. They can just turn it into anything.
No, they're awesome.
And yeah, it's fantastic. So, speaking of things that are awesome, we have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and their friend Carter looking for the ship that took Leonardo and Donatello. And they're driving around the mean streets, which, again, we get another look at how desolate New York is in the red skies. Just boarded up buildings and all kinds of stuff. Just then, April gives the Turtles a call, and on the in the turtle van, and this is another thing we talked about last episode, where the turtle comm is actually in the console as opposed to it being just a turtle comm.
I'm about that.
There. I'm totally about it, and it's neat. And so she's trying to she's relaying the whole situation of all just what happened. As she's doing this, the microbots now have taken over the SUV and dismantled it, along with her camera and her turtle comm eventually. And yeah, April's just like left there, just like, what? I love it so much because she was so oblivious.
No, it's pretty great.
So at that point, the turtles just get radio static, and Raphael's freaking out. He's like, we got to figure this out fast, like because April's in trouble. So Michelangelo, cool as a cucumber, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just like chilling. He's like, no, I got this. I'll just let my fingers do the walking through the web pages, Ryan. And
So I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
I know why you missed this now, because you watch with subtitles to pull subtitles.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
and
yeah.
It blocks the keyboard. But guys, the keyboard in, I guess, the computer in the front part of the thing,
right,
is not a QWERTY keyboard, guys. It's in alphabetical order.
Alphabetical order, which is horrible.
I think an alphabetical order keyboard would drive you insane. I think that
so too.
they probably laid them out like that at one point, and like people who typed on it got actual possessed, and not possessed by like a demon, but more like Cthulhu enamored with the energy of the sleeping dead god type level thing. I think that they just started speaking weird words. They started having to go into the swamp. They started having to build an effigy. They started having to chant a lot. Stuff like that stuff that you don't want.
You don't want it. You don't want it.
You don't want that.
It's kind of like a Ouija board.
You could also make a little bit of like an Event Horizon situation, like where they went. You know what I mean? They picked up some of that hell. You know what I'm saying? And they come back. Yeah, that's why keyboards aren't laid out that way. But they don't seem to care. I also love that in the bottom corner you can see there's a key for what looks like 2 exclamation points. There's an exclamation point button, right? And it's like double.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Yeah, double.
I understand. I understand. That's probably supposed to be like parentheses, or quotes,
right?
But then I don't know what the two bottom ones are. That just that looks like
it does look like 2 exclamation points.
And then if you hit shift, it's ellipses,
right?
But it's only 2 dot ellipses, which bother me.
Yeah,
if you type ellipses and don't use 3, I feel like I have to fix it or something.
I'm the same way.
Maybe I don't know.
I do my best. I do my best to get the 3 in there, but I mean, when I'm in a hurry, I might mess up. But that's just because of my job, how that is. But generally, it bothers me.
I accept your apology.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that I guarantee you that the animators were like, no one's ever going to notice this thing. No one's ever going to talk about this.
Oh, yeah.
And here we are today. And I would love if one of the animators on this show were listening to the show and was like, oh, holy shit. They're talking about it.
Okay, so you're an animator. If you're doing this, why would you not make it QWERTY? Do you know what I mean? Why would you just make it alphabetical order?
That's true. And again,
unless originally it was designed for a different see, I can just writer's room it, and I can just make it make sense. That initially Donnie adapted that keyboard. That's not a keyboard initially to type on. It was a keyboard for different rows of banks of different weapons or different functions, like A, B, C, and he kept adding to it.
Okay,
and
that's
now he added a new computer interface where you can type words into a search function or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're going to be typing it on a keyboard that was made for alphanumeric like commands, not
Right.
for typing words.
Right. And I think that's probably you're close to it, I think, if not right on it. But like another thing is that this is the advent of the internet, like the internet age, like where computers are in your house. Like so a lot of people aren't
They're great for researching stories, man.
They're great for the researching stories and for triangulating where a criminal will strike
That's
next.
What she told
us. So like I get that maybe, but you'd make that argument, but then like typewriters have been around way before the computers and everything. So there's that. However, I will say this.
Wait, stop. What? Wait, go back to typewriters have been around since the computer.
No,
so
before
there's
computers.
That. Like
I said before
I know
computers.
That, before computers. What I was saying was, what did you mean by that? You said typewriters were around well before computers, so there's that. And I'm like, what does that, how does that relate to what we're talking about?
There's familiarity with QWERTY, which if you don't, so the typewriters are the same layout.
All right, I'm having to unravel it. See, this is the birth of the internet, so that a lot of people who didn't use typewriters may not have known or had a lot of access to a QWERTY keyboard, is what you're saying.
Precisely. That you have computers in your home around this time. That's a thing. And but then I was saying, but then there's there key or now I can't even think of typewriters. And so that was how it was back then too. So it's a little strange.
Commodore 64 and other like gaming computers, home computers have been around since like the early 80s.
Right.
So especially in Japan, they had that stuff, man. I don't know.
Right. Now, but so with that argument having been made, that leads me to we're dealing with teenagers, we're dealing with people that are driving nonetheless. It's probably easier for them if it's alphabetical and they're trying to do it on the fly and they're doing to what you were saying, that they're looking for like quick commands.
Okay, I'm getting you now. I think you were taking it from. I feel like you were taking it from an angle of like, well, it's like the animators didn't know or what a QWERTY keyboard, or maybe they didn't have a lot of time around QWERTY keyboards, and I don't buy that. But when I think about the fact that the Turtles don't have a formal education,
right,
and Donnie is designing computers, basically he's reinventing the wheel.
Yeah. That could be.
And so he may have been like, well, it's easier if keyboards are in alphabetical order.
Right.
Why wouldn't they be?
Right. And if it's not easier...
keyboards might actually be in alphabetical order, and we all could have awoken Cthulhu at this point, if not for the whole development of the QWERTY keyboard, which part of it was to make keyboards run actually like with the most common words and they're arranged that way. That's not the whole story. People say that the way QWERTY came about was because typewriters were mechanical machines, and actually there were other key orientations that were faster, but they jammed the machine up. That's partially true,
right?
But only for a few letters, actually. Like the rest of it comes from there's like a myriad like different like origins for like all these little pieces came together to make QWERTY. Anyways.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't know.
That was a nice tangent.
Yeah.
I appreciate you indulging me.
No problem. But yeah, it's interesting that like that's the thing. So there's that. Well, they use it to access the internet via the same TurtleCom that is in the van. And they end up pulling they got, so April's telling them before she got she tells them the street address that she's at, and she's able to get a few words out, and she gets 333 South Simp, SIMP. And so they're like, okay, well, Michelangelo lets his fingers do the walking through the internet and finds that there's a 333 South Simpson Street and a 333 South Simpleton Boulevard. And so they're having to figure out what they're going to do, because they got to find it. And it's kind of like that Batman situation where it's like the bomb's in either one of these places, so you got to pick and you got to choose which one's going to die. Yeah. Kind of situation. Although a little less grave, I would imagine. So yeah, they decide that they are going to try, I forget which one they try first, but I
think it's Simpleton.
Yeah, so they're going to try that. But before they do that, we jump back with Dregg, and Dregg now has April and Leonardo both in their glass, case of emotion, and he's pontificating as he does, talking about all kinds of stuff, and he for some reason turns Leonardo's cage into just like electric wire, like beams or whatever.
Electric beams, yeah.
Oh, you know why? Now that I think about it, okay, this makes a lot more sense as I'm going through it. He probably did that because his plan is he has his gun aimed at Leonardo, his plutonium gun. And
he's going to actually shoot him.
Right. So before he transforms the cage, Leo's in a glass cage and he's tied up of emotion. And if he's tied up, he has to then if he unties himself, he's going to break out of that glass cage. So he needs the ropes gone for the plutonium to work, or maybe the glass will like affect the plutonium ray. One way or another, that's why he switches it. And I didn't put that together. They don't really explain it, but that's why he does it. I feel like I can see
only the fact that he needs to shoot him like through, because you can't shoot him through the glass.
Right.
The ropes just disappearing and different things like that. That makes no sense.
Yeah. It's strange. So and then let's see. So yeah, he's Leo and him are going, like, Leo's just still like all mutated and just kind of freaking out and realizes that he can't get past those things. So past the electric beams. And Donnie shows up and he's like behind Leo and he's like, all right, now's my chance to free Leonardo. And he goes to do it and we hear panting. And it's our boy Mung, and he comes out, and he starts talking about he starts to deliver the plutonium to Dregg. Dregg then places it into the machine, and he blasts Leonardo just straight up. He started blasting, and this turns Leonardo from his mutated form into his normal Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle form.
Yeah.
And at this point, April's just like, oh my gosh, like she was really worried that something was really bad going to happen to him, and she's checking on him. And Leo, who can hear through the glass, he informs her that no, he feels great, like just everything's fine. And so he asked why Dregg cured him, and Dregg's like, I didn't cure you, but we'll touch on that later. So back at 333 South Simpleton Boulevard. Raphael and Michelangelo and Carter, they barge into this warehouse or just this building. Turns out, Ryan, that they're thinking that it's gonna be, it's going down, and nope, it is just a room filled with caged animals that has no explanation whatsoever. They don't tell us anything.
It's a pretty mysterious, dark looking business, though.
It is.
I would immediately be like, does this exist?
Right. And so, so the turtles, they say that maybe he knows that Santa's not going to give him a puppy he asked for. Oh, because they talk about Dregg has this. This is Dregg's. Why is there all these animals?
Dregg's,
Exactly. Which is weird to just think that this is Dregg. Like, there's no other reason to think that Dregg would have anything to do with this besides the fact that you have the two addresses. At this point, they see a shadow. Turns out it's this giant gorilla that is uncaged for some reason, and he chases the turtles out of it chases the turtles out of the building. Back at the warehouse with the plutonium gun, April and now regular mutant Leonardo and Dregg. Leo is pleading for April to be let go, and Dregg is quick to oblige. However, he said that he set her free, but did not let her go, and he grabs onto her, and he is going to turn her into a cyborg via the microbots, which I think is fantastic, and I kind of
sounds great.
Would have loved that.
Sounds great.
As he's going to do that, as Mung's about to get ready to do that and everything, Donnie finally does something and says, "Freeze, beetle brain!" And so he throws his bow staff or gets ready to. At that very moment, the turtles again bust through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man, because they had to spend that budget money, like just to it's the last season, they got to wreck everything.
They got to make it happen.
So as they come in, we got the red bat boys blasting and destroying and just shooting everywhere. Guns are blazing. And at this point, Carter comes in and just wrecks them with his bike. And I just want to point out his license plate, they oddly animated it. Well, they didn't animate it. They just wrote it. But it says 17952. So if anyone knows what that's a reference to, if it is at all, hit us up. turtlesupershow@gmail.com.
Actually, this is so weird. It's like lodged into my head from doing research on this episode. I do know that it is an animation mistake in this episode that his license plate is clearly shown before in the series, and it's a different number.
Interesting. Like, do you think that he got it changed because like
I don't know
trouble?
what numbers it is. I don't know what number it originally was. I wasn't going to bring it up because I was like, oh, it's interesting, but I don't think it's that big a deal. But yeah, it is apparently not the same as it was before.
Yeah, that's strange. And I'm accustomed to looking at license plates because of Marvel movies and stuff. So yeah, I'm always thinking that there's something there. And I don't know, speculation's fun for me. Well, at this point, the turtles are able to jump out of the van because Carter has cleared them of the gunfire. And they just come out and they just start throwing their weapons. And by weapon, I mean for Michelangelo, his grappling hook. Yeah. And at this point, Carter gets blasted by... I want to say he gets blasted by the plutonium gun, if I'm not mistaken. He does. Like that, like off his bike. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Now I don't know if they bring this back or not, but that's how I took it.
Wait a minute. The red coloring makes me think it's a Batman gun.
Okay, it might be. It might be.
I think the plutonium ray is like white.
Right.
Like it was like white, not like white goo, but like white energy.
Okay.
Like it's not red. I think he just gets hit by a Batman shot.
Right. See, I don't know because Dregg orders Mung to use the plutonium ray and blast Carter off his bike. So I don't know. It could go either way.
Oh, okay. Maybe you're right.
Yeah. Sorry, because I was going off my pictures instead of my notes. So that's what was crossing me out. But yeah, I don't. But by the color, you're right. It could be one way or the other. Raphael takes Leo's swords or his blades, if you will, to him. And he is able to cut through the electricity that was keeping him captive. At this point, they all just kind of like meet up in the middle and just are casual and just talking. Everyone is, and they're talking to Dregg about like what's going on. And Dregg is this is that classic villain thing where you realize that that everything he knows something and he's cool. He's got some cards up his sleeve. So
he does.
He tells Leonardo that he didn't cure him, that he has actually turned his mutated genes into a very unstable element. And Donatello's like, wait a minute, are you saying that he's gonna go like nuclear? Like that Leo's gonna explode? Like this is gonna be real bad? And yeah, basically that's pretty much it. At that point, Leonardo starts to not feel so good, and yeah, he starts to do that glow thing that his feet did.
Don't feel very good. Is what that subtitle looks like to me.
Exactly. And he mutates back into the hyper mutated version of himself. Yeah. At this point, he grabs April O'Neil and pieces out. The Turtles and Carter, they decide that they need to get the chemicals to do something to fix this essentially, and so they decide to split up. Donnie T and Carter are going to go get the chemicals, and no. Raph and Mike are going to go get the chemicals from Dregg, who took off. By the way, him and Mung, while this was all going down, they pieced out, and yeah, so they're going to split up, and this is my favorite part of the whole episode. Donatello and Raph and Mikey, they follow Dregg in the turtle van. They find him. Michelangelo from the turtle van yeets his grappling hook up to Dregg's ship that's flying away, that's way up in the sky, and manages to get it hooked in, like just through the concrete of it or through the metal into the bottom of it. And yeah, at that point, Raphael switches on the autopilot on the turtle van, hugs Michelangelo, and they both like sail out of the window, the passenger side window of the van. And yeah, they climb their way up, all the way up to the top of Dregg's Dregg's ship. That's
pretty Florida Man, right there.
It is. It is.
I guess the Florida Man seal of approval, right there.
It totally does. That's totally Florida Man, or something that could happen also in Australia. And then so so Donatello and Carter are going to find Leonardo, and so they find him at the No Sweat gym, or at least in that vicinity.
No sweat.
And Leonardo is out in New York City, and he is wrecking trees. He's just like Arbor Day, I don't care. I'm just like, screw your trees.
No, he's committed to the King Kong routine. Fay Ray also. Like Fay Ray complete with his Fay Ray in his arms at the same time.
Oh yeah. So it's great. And then the police show up, and he just starts kicking cars. Like it's great. I love this. I love that he's just like screw your cars, and it's fantastic. Well, at this point, Donnie T and Carter, they stop the bike and they run over to this dump truck, and your boy Donatello is just like, hey, let me borrow your truck. And your boy's just like, what? Okay. And he gets out, runs away.
Yeah, he's like, I don't get paid enough.
I don't get paid enough. Don't get paid enough.
Yeah.
So April and Leonardo, they end up going down an alley. Like Leo's taking her down an alley, and they start scaling the wall of this building. One way or another, Donatello ends up getting April and away from Leonardo and into the actual dump truck, like the actual garbage.
Well, it's a garbage truck.
What did I say?
Dump truck. It's a
dump truck. Sorry, that's two separate things. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a garbage truck. Yeah, I felt weird when I was typing dump truck. Like I was like, that's not what that is. But I guess it just didn't click. But yeah, they are in the garbage, and it's pretty bad. So April's like fed up with this, as she's been stating that she's sick of all the turtle stuff and all that stuff. So she is going for the lever to release it, or I don't even know if she knows what that does. She's gonna pull a lever just to get out. So she goes to do that. Donnie's like, no, don't do that. What it does is it ends up flipping the bucket to make Leonardo fall into where they're at. At that point, it's a whole mess. They end up getting Carter to come over, and they release it. They get out. They trap Leonardo inside of it still, and they take off in the garbage truck. And so, at this point, we're back to my favorite part of the episode, Ryan. Michelangelo and Raphael make their way unknown into Dregg's ship, again from a grappling hook. So they sneak up behind Mung and Dregg, and as they do, Raphael, I believe it's Raphael, steps on like a glass of green like liquid. And
how?
You're a
ninja. How?
Yeah, how does that happen?
How? If you're a ninja, how?
So
it was the only thing on the floor.
Yeah, the only thing. Yeah, this floor is spotless besides that. And now I can get that you're hyper focused and that you're a teenager and that your adrenaline's running because you just climbed, I don't know, Ryan, like what? Like
I don't know.
1,000 feet in the air maybe, if not more.
Sure.
And so that's terrifying. And so your adrenaline's pumping, but you step on a vial of green stuff. Like you're a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Green stuff in vials is something you stay away from. Like that should be up there with spiders and
you do
penicillin.
Not want a flowers for Algernon situation happening.
You do
based
not.
Off this.
You do
and
not.
It very well could.
It could, and we don't know yet. If I'm not mistaken, they don't address this the rest of the episode.
No.
But nevertheless, at this point, the turtles are caught by Mung and some Batman, and the guns start blasting. And Raphael, they take off. The turtles retreat, but Raphael runs into the fire because they were like, no, we got to do this. We got to get this stuff. So he runs into the gunfire, and he's like, I hope these are the ones that, which is so weird because why would Donatello not go get the chemicals? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why they sent Raphael to do this? But
I have no idea.
Nevertheless, Raphael grabs the stuff and they head out the same way they came in, which looks like they're jumping from a brick wall. And they just cowabunga out the hole. And so as a result of this, Dregg gets mad and he grabs a gun, not a goo gun, but a laser gun, and he shoots just willy-nilly at the turtles as they're making their descent back to Earth. And he manages to hit the rope that they're rappelling from. And this severs the rope. Oh, it's a great shot. Severs the rope. However, Ryan, it catches the rope on fire. And this fire proceeds to make its way all the way back up to a spaceship made of metal that is flying at a speed that's probably like, I don't know, like pretty fast.
Very fast.
And probably enough to where a little fire like that probably could have been blown out.
It's going to go out.
Yeah. But instead of going out, it goes all the way up to the spaceship. And it catches this thing on fire.
It is an actual fuse. Like,
yes.
It is like Mikey's, like, the rope on that thing just happens to be made of like magnesium or like white sulfur or something. Like it's something that's like not even like wind can't put it out, water can't put it out. Like it's it's like a chemical reaction. It's a chemical reaction, like chemical fire type stuff is what this is made out of.
Yeah.
It runs like the fuse on a black cat and then just actually sets the entire scout ship on fire.
Yeah. Which
that is the most ridiculous part of this. I'm like, what? That's amazing.
It makes no sense. Now, if we want to writer's room this, you could say that the chemical that Raphael stepped in, that maybe Raphael's foot touched that cable or the rope or whatever, and that caused the effect. But they do not tell us that here at all. We do not know. We do not know how this even worked. But furthermore, we did not see a parachute on these turtles until they needed it. And now Michelangelo has a parachute. And so that enables them safe travel all the way back. So at this point we jump back to the lair where we have April, Splinter, Carter, and Donatello. They are there with Leonardo. He's incapacitated and he has all of the what did you call those things? The leads or something? What are they called? The Is that leads? Okay. Yeah.
Leads? Yeah.
Hooked up to him. And so he's on a giant table that they've got. And I will say that I do like the fact that Carter is a scientist guy, that he is into science. Like that
I do
that
like
redeems
that.
him a little bit for me. And so this, and I will say again, this is probably my favorite. We've talked about this a few times, but seeing Donnie in the lab, in his laboratory this season has been a lot more interesting in comparison to other seasons. But like, there's something more better about it that I just enjoy. But we get a scene of them finally. They're running out of time, right in the nick of time. Turtles run in with the chemicals. Donnie pours them into the machine, flicks the switch. You get the blue light, which causes a lot of roaring from Leonardo. You get, which is probably been my favorite stuff too, this more of my favorite stuff, which is the goggles that we talked about last episode, and then just white light.
Yeah.
Just every character getting a scene in white light and goggles. It's the best. And at this point, your boy Leonardo realizes that he's got to cut out those cheesy sci-fi flicks because it's just too much. This is just getting to him. And Leo's been through a lot. So he's back to normal. Back with Dregg and Mung. Their ship has crashed, and Mung is kind of like, oh no, like I love that he's always like defeated, that he feels like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get it, like you know, I'm gonna get yeeted out of this, this whole thing.
Oh yeah.
And and what he does is he's like, okay, well, Dregg is kind of upset, but then Mung's like, here's a picture from the remote microbot that I planted on the turtles, and they are they can broadcast from that, which apparently they have a camera in them, and they're showing the turtles in the lair on this like TV, like, you know, portable TV they got. And they realize that they've returned the mutated Leo back into normal. And Dregg's like, no, he may look normal, but I've permanently altered his genetic structure, Ryan. That's some supervillain stuff.
I love that.
Yeah, I it's great. I love that. He's just Dregg is so cool, just chilling and just being like, I've already done. I've done it. I've done what I wanted to do. But then we get an actual, like, we go back into the lair for, and I know I've been saying I love a lot of stuff in this episode, but this was the first thing that got me 6 to midnight, and that is an X-ray of Leonardo just on the screen, just Leonardo, X-ray, bones and all, teeth, everything. And that was it.
I'm calling it now. They're gonna make that NECA. They're gonna make that.
Oh, they already have. They made the because I got excited about this, and then I realized this is not the first time we've seen the skeleton of a turtle. It's not that exact one, no. But they did make the one where you get electrocuted in the video game, and
they're gonna make that specific one.
Yeah, no, I hope they do.
That's gonna be my Ernie Reyes Jr. head that you think they're going to make for a turtle they released years ago.
Yeah.
That's going to be my version of. They're going to make that exact same thing. It's going to be in the TV.
Oh, like that's going
so
to be
all the turtles can watch it.
So that's going to be like the San Diego exclusive. Like they're going to have the box set.
Yes,
it's going to be the TV.
Yeah, the box.
Oh my goodness. Like I would buy that in a heartbeat.
They're going to do it.
Yeah,
they're going to do
it. NECA, if you're listening,
it's already done.
It's right there. They probably already got it made.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah, and then I hope that it comes with like an accessory pack with those sunglasses for the rest of the characters to put on.
Why not? Yeah, no, they're definitely going to make that too.
Yeah, and then just to put it over the top, they have a little Carter necklace, like the teeth necklace, and then a big one that you could actually wear. That would be just
okay. Yes, yeah.
Icing on the cake.
And they'll make that too.
I agree. Yeah. So all right. So at this point,
that's a pre-order bonus though.
Exactly. Yeah. You got to be early adopter right there.
Early adopter.
So everyone's excited, and April's like, "Hey Carter, isn't this great?" And Carter's just
April's rubbing that. Look at her face. April's rubbing that in.
She knows what she's
doing.
Look
at her face.
Oh yeah.
She's like, "Isn't that great, Carter? Come on, isn't that great? Come on, crack for me. Come on."
Right.
Come
exactly.
On.
Yeah.
Come on.
She
Show me
knows
some
what
emotion.
she's doing.
She pulls her camera out. Come on, Carter, cry.
Right.
Cry, damn it, cry. You know, like it gets like really dark and it cuts, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the episode.
Well, Carter just because April just can't pick up on human emotions. Apparently, Carter just like skulks away again, and he's contemplating going back to college again. But Donnie T, because Donnie T and him, they're practically dating at this point, and
they really are.
He goes up to his boy Carter, and he's like, you know what, like what's going on? And Carter's like, I don't know how I feel about all this, and I love this because it's showing that, well, now he doesn't know if he wants to return to normal because he doesn't know if, like, who he is outside of, like, the transformation that's been made. And this is where your boy Splinter comes up, and he goes, "It's not your mutation that makes you special, Carter. It's you who makes your mutation special." And that is, like the best thing. Like, I love it. Like, it's so, like, I don't know. It's so cheesy, but I love that they address it. Cheesy. And I love that it's like, this is some character development. And I'm like, at this point in 10 seasons in, I'm looking for anything I can get out of this stuff. And well,
yeah.
But and I'm not the only one who thought that, like, that's pretty deep. The Turtles even think so. And they say as much before they return to watch their Jurassic show. And so, that's that's the end of the episode, and that's where we leave our turtles until next episode. So, what do you how do you feel about that?
I liked it a lot. I think it was a little funny. Some things were kind of disjointed. Like there's this little stuff, and once again, it's hard to be too critical because the show is so much better than it was. Than it was before when it got reset every episode and barely anything changed. I gotta say that the takeaway for me here is I love this thread they're pulling with Dregg, constantly kind of like looking kind of like a doofus and failing, but being like, nope, that's another part of the plan. Nope, that's another part of the plan. Like he keeps kind of like throwing these like really good like MacGuffins at them where they're like, I want to make the portal.
Right.
And the turtle's like, we stopped you. He's like, I actually wanted a piece of your turtle shell.
Exactly.
And then he gets the shell and he's like, now I'm going to make you go nuclear, make you blow up. And they're like, well, we stopped that. So screw you. He's like, yeah, no, I just wanted to change your body.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
like
I
it
love
seems
that.
like there's always like a thing he's doing. And I really like it. I really like it. That's probably the biggest takeaway for me. I also do like April kind of like opting out of the turtle culture right now. I like that out of her. I think that's pretty cool that she's kind of like, you know what, like I don't know, man. I'm kind of like I'm cashing out like a little bit with like with how this is working because you know, I think those are the two things I really like. I gotta say, for the first time, not the first time, like I feel like this is the most I felt this way. Like I actually am really curious about what happens next episode.
Yeah, because they don't really leave us with, like, last episode they had Leo in the box and they kind of had a little bit of something there, but yeah, here we don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm like, how is Leo like changed? Like they're gonna keep doing this, like where Leo thinks he's okay, and and then Raph stepped on that stuff, and we don't know how if they're gonna like play that up. Like we don't know like a lot of that, but it feels a little bit like they're gonna bring this together. I don't know, like I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and I gotta say I'm enjoying this season so far. I mean, I like everything you said about Dregg is spot on, and I'm right there with it. And Carter's a lot less annoying, but he also has a lot more character. The fact that April's done with the turtle stuff is fantastic, and I don't know, like I'm really enjoying this, and I hate that it's like the last season is where it's digging in and it's getting good. But yeah, so guys, let us know what you thought of this episode. Did you like it? Are you feeling Carter?
For sure.
Like, are you enjoying all the April stuff and Dregg this season? Like, what do you think about this? Do you know, like, let us know. You can do that by reaching out to us at turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. You can also try at email.com if you want, but that your results may vary with that. You can also find us on the home of the internet, turtlesoupshow@gmail. No, dang it. Oh.